Welcome back to Riley's Collection. I'm Riley, and today we're reviewing the SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I have been beyond excited to talk about this guy. We've been waiting for him for what seems like forever. Here he is, right in front of me, my long-awaited SH Figuarts Tobey Maguire. And I'm just gonna say this right off the bat, this is a fantastic release. It pretty much delivers on everything I hoped it would. So without further ado, let's hop into the aesthetics. Here is our SH Figuarts Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in all of its glory, standing here on the rotating base, which we now have thanks to my buddy James. Shout out to him. James, if you're watching this, thank you so much, man. So as you can tell, they absolutely nailed the look of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in No Way Home. Personally, I think he looks just like he did in the Raimi films, and to be honest, I would argue that he more closely resembles the original Raimi films than he does No Way Home because of the color choices. I think these colors look spot on to the Raimi films. I mean, I haven't watched those films recently, so I could be wrong, but this figure just takes me right back to Spider-Man 2, and yeah, I absolutely love that. The body proportions of this figure are spot on. Everything seems to look good, be the proper length, and I think that they captured Tobey Maguire's build pretty nicely in form of action figure here. Getting in closer here, we can see all of the sculpted detail on this figure, all of that sculpted pattern on the blue, and they even carried on that sculpted honeycomb pattern on the red in between the web lines, and it all just looks really great. I love the colored gray that they used for the web lines and the spider on the chest. It's a really nice gunmetal gray, and I think it really nicely resembles how it looks in the films. The masked head sculpt here I think looks spot on. It would have been cool if they sculpted the eyes to where the white parts are a little bit sunken in like they are in the films. That's the only thing I would say about the head sculpt. Other than that, it looks fantastic. The spider logo on the back also looks really good, just like it did in the film. It is sculpted, raised off the body, just like the spider logo on the front. Unfortunately, it does get broken up by the articulation, but that's a pretty minor issue, if you could even call it an issue. That's more of just a nitpick. Speaking of nitpicks, I do want to address the whole hip area situation. So I've been hearing a lot of people talk about the aesthetics of the hip area of this figure in their reviews, and just kind of saying they don't like that articulation setup. They think it looks ugly. Honestly, when you start posing him, you won't notice it at all. And to be honest with you, I love this hip setup because of the range of motion that it allows, that we'll get into more specifically later, but you just get so much range of motion with that hip setup. I really don't think that it looks that bad at all. I mean, this is an action figure we're talking about. There's always going to be certain points of articulation on certain figures that are going to look ugly. So you heard it here first. The SH Figuarts hip articulation is absolutely fine. In fact, it's preferable for me. It's my favorite hip setup on any action figure from any brand. One more thing I wanted to point out before we talk about the accessories. He does have a little bit of shading on the upper thighs, right where the articulation point is. So you can see, like, at the split between this part of the leg and this part of the leg, it's much darker, like right at the top. And I gotta say, I really don't like that. I do like that they added shading on the legs, but it's just in a really weird spot, like halfway down the thigh. And I really think that could have been executed a lot better. But ultimately, the figure looks really good. Just absolutely gorgeous. I cannot express that enough. So as you can see here, I have all the accessories laid out on the rotating base. This Spider-Man action figure does come with a slew of accessories here. We do get a set of wall crawling hands, a set of mask grabbing hands, a set of pointer hands, a set of web grabbing hands, a set of web thwipping hands. We also do get the mask for him to hold. We get 2 long web thwip lines, we get 2 short web thwip lines, and then we get 1 long swinging web line. All of the web lines are done in a translucent clear plastic. I do really like this mask. The sculpt on it is really good. They got all the wrinkles in there, and all the web lines are even raised on this mask as well. So yeah, that all looks really good. On the hands, the web lines are raised as well, and all the hands are painted really nice honestly, this is just top-notch quality here with this figure. And I mean, it better be for $90. You also do get 2 Tobey Maguire head sculpts. We have the more neutral one right here, and then we have the smiling one. There have been a lot of mixed opinions on these head sculpts. My opinion on them is that this one is pretty good. Honestly, for the scale, it's really good. Is it one of the best 1/12 scale head sculpts I've ever seen? No, but it does look like Tobey Maguire, and it definitely will get the job done. This one, on the other hand, I think still does look like Tobey Maguire from certain angles, but at a lot of angles, it just looks really bad, man. I'm not gonna lie. So this one's a little bit of a mixed bag. I don't think that it's totally worthless. Like I said, I do think from certain angles, like maybe that one right there, like you can kind of see it. So this head might have some applications yet, and I do like the roughed up hair in the back. Yeah, so it's not totally bad, but I do definitely prefer this one. And then it does come with this special neck piece, so you can have the top half of his neck exposed when he has an unmasked head on. And I did want to show off here both of the unmasked head sculpts as well as the mask accessory. And like I said before, the mask accessory looks really, really good. The sculpt is great. The paintwork is great. And the Tobey Maguire head sculpt, the first one, again, looks really, really good. But it's just that second one that I think is pretty lacking in terms of the likeness. I do think you get a reasonable amount of accessories for the money with this guy. Okay, so now let's talk about the articulation, which I think is really one of the biggest selling points of this guy. The head can articulate at the base of the head and also at the base of the neck. So at the base of the head, you do get your full rotation. Mine is like really tight at the head for some reason. I don't know why. None of the other joints are tight like that. It's just this one. But I can get a little bit of movement out of it. At the neck, it does go all the way around. The neck can go back about that far before you start getting it to come out, pop off that peg right there. But even when it's like halfway off the peg, it'll still stay on there. It'll just get knocked off a lot easier. We do get butterfly joints with this guy. Moving backward, you get about that much range. You get forward about that much range, so not a ton, but you do get a lot of rotation there. And then you do get your rotation at the base of the shoulder. That's also on a ball joint. The arm can move up about that far, so definitely greater than 90 degrees. Altogether, that whole shoulder setup just allows for a great range of motion. You do also get a bicep swivel here. Double jointed elbow bends in about that much, which is really good. Now, I would like to note that the elbow is entirely blue, so it doesn't really match up on the red side, but that is a minor gripe. At the wrist, you do get a full rotation and hinge, and the hand is just on a little ball joint there, which is super easy to pop on and pop off hands. At the torso, we do get a diaphragm cut. It does move back about that much, so that's a pretty good range back. Going forward, you get a good amount there as well. You also do get tilt from side to side, which is really good on this guy. So overall, you do get a really good range of motion on that diaphragm joint there. And then you also do get movement at the waist. He can bend in about that much, which is a really solid amount as well. And then he does have that gap covered up in the back. And then going back with the waist joint, you do get about that much back. So really not that much back with the waist joint. Using both the diaphragm joint and the waist joint forwards crunch, you're getting about that much, which is really good. And then going back, you're getting about that much, which is also very solid. You don't get any rotation at the waist, so that is a little bit of a bummer on this guy. The legs do move up that far, so he can kick straight out. The legs also will move back the exact same amount, so he can do a perfect forward split like that. Going out, they are going to go out about that much, so you get pretty much a perfect split going outwards as well. You do get the butt flaps that move as well. So ultimately, a lot of range in the hip area, which is super important for acrobatic poses and crouching poses. And you definitely want a good hip setup on a Spider-Man action figure. You also do get rotation at the thigh. That rotates all the way around. Double jointed knees that bend all the way in. The ankle joint moves outward about that much. It does have like a little thing here. I think that's to try and cover up the joint, but it doesn't really work. So, I mean, it doesn't really hinder articulation either, so I guess it's fine, but it's just a little bit of a weird addition there. Not sure why they did that. And then going up, it goes up about that much, which is really good as well. You do get your ankle rocker from side to side, which is very, very functional. And you do get a toe joint, which again is very functional. So you're getting a lot of articulation with this guy. There is no spider pose you won't be able to get him into with this set of articulation. And as you can see here, I'm kind of getting him into a pose for you guys, just so you can kind of see the articulation at work. And boom, look at that. This guy just poses so nicely and absolutely effortlessly. For some scale comparisons here, we do have the Marvel Legends Toy Biz Sam Raimi Spider-Man on the right. I don't know which one that one is. And then on the left, we do have the SH Figuarts Integrated Suit Spider-Man, the version 1, not the one that's coming out, with the updated colors. And yeah, they all do look pretty good together. Obviously, the Marvel Legends is a little bit taller. He's kind of bending at the knees a little bit. I had to do that to help him stand up. He is very loose in the joints. But yeah, if you have a Toy Biz Spider-Man, this SH Figuarts one might be worth the upgrade for you, and I can absolutely assure you that it is better in every conceivable way, which is the main reason why I went with the SH Figuarts one instead of the Marvel Legends 3-pack, because yeah, you could get Toby, Andrew, and Tom all together in one pack for around about the same amount of money you can get this guy for, but you're just going to be getting a much better figure with the SH Figuarts. And for me, with the Marvel Legends, my concern was like, well, I know it's gonna look better, I know the paint apps are probably gonna be better, but is the articulation gonna be better? Because these Toy Biz figures articulated really well. What I'm trying to get at here is I think that with Hasbro, I'm not confident that it'll be better than the Toy Biz versions in every conceivable way. And if that's the case, then it's like, what's the point? I want the definitive Toby, not the one that's better than the Toy Biz ones in some areas and worse than them in other areas. No, I want the one that is better in every conceivable way, which is this SH Figuarts version right here. And he does look really good next to the Integrated Suit Spider-Man there. They scale really nicely together, and it's so nice to finally be able to have a Toby to go with this Tom. Now we're just waiting for Andrew. I can't wait for that. And here he is next to some other Spider-Man imports. We have the Sentinel Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker. We have the Mafex Symbiote Spider-Man and the Mezco Spider-Man 2099. And I'd say he probably won't scale with the Mezcos, because Mezcos are kind of like on the tall end of the 1/12 scale, and Figuarts are more on the very small end. But as for the Sentinel, they could definitely work together, as well as with Mafex. The Figuarts line does tend to skew a little bit shorter, like I said, but I collect a lot of Figuarts and Marvel Legends and other imports, and I've always found that once you get things kind of like posed up, a lot of the times those height differences and things like that just kind of melt away. So if you're not somebody that just kind of lines your figures up standing next to each other on the shelf, and you want to kind of mix and match with your displays, it's definitely doable. So what's the verdict on this SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? Well, like I said, it's awesome. This figure does not disappoint. One thing I did forget to mention earlier is that the left leg at the hip is a little bit loose out of the packaging, and it looks like it's gonna be that way with every single figure. Don't quote me on that, that might not be true, but I have seen in a lot of reviews people talking about how the left leg is a little bit loose, but it's not so loose that it won't hold a pose. That's not the case at all, and it is definitely still very functional, so that's definitely a super minor thing. Hopefully it doesn't cause issues down the line, but personally I think it'll be alright. Otherwise though, the sculpt is amazing. So much little intricate detail all throughout the costume with that honeycomb pattern, and then you have the raised webbing that's all painted very nicely and cleanly with that great gunmetal gray color. The blues and the reds look absolutely spectacular, super accurate to the film, and on top of the aesthetic, this guy poses a treat. You will be able to get poses out of this guy all day, every day, up and down. And what I love about having this comprehensive set of articulation is that it makes getting them into casual poses or funny poses a lot easier. You can have him sitting with his legs crossed or on his knees. It's really easy to just do so many fun things with the articulation that SH Figuarts and Bandai provide you. That alone makes this an absolutely amazingly fun toy. Also, the accessories are very good. You do get a lot of bang for your buck here in terms of how much you get, being with all the hands, 2 extra heads, the mask he can hold in his hand, as well as the web effect accessories. Man, $90 is really steep for an action figure, and it sucks that the prices are so high, but at least if they're charging $90, we're getting a really awesome action figure here. This is definitely one of those times where I do feel like the $90 price point is definitely worth it. You get every bit of your money's worth here. So if you're a fan of the Raimi movies or Spider-Man No Way Home or the MCU or whatever, and you want this costume on your shelf, absolutely pick it up. If you want to go the cheaper route, go with the Legends. I'm sure it'll be great. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think that there will be ever another Tobey Maguire action figure in the 1/12 scale as good as this one right here. But with all that said, guys, I really hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, please hit that like button. It really does help this channel out. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, because subscribing on this channel gives you lifetime virtual access to my collection. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. All right, guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.